Okay, so I'm going to do a brief intro of these folks. By the way, these are essentially Flash game developer rock stars, and they're local to the area here. So my goal here is to get their insights and input on where the Flash game space is today and where it's going tomorrow. So Rudy SUDARTO is the founder of ArtLogic Games, one of the world's top Flash game development studios. They've got a massive portfolio, more than 250 million global gameplays. Epic War Series, probably the most successful title, and one of the titles you guys recognize. And they specialize in the Flash platform and also looking at hardcore games. This year, looking at social, MMO, and mobile games as well. So you want to, there's Twitter there as well if you want to follow at ArtLogic Games. Raymond Teo is the founder of Secret Base. Some of you might have played the Bytejacker game. They are also responsible for Toby's Adventures. Warminder Lee is founder of Lucidrin, also a recent member of Agate Studios. Is a winner of People's Choice Award for the Mochis Awards at FGS 2010 for Cube Colossus. And Luther Chen is the managing director of Explosive Barrel, Singapore-based indie game development studio, creating high-quality Flash games for the past few years. Responsible for games like Straw Hat Samurai, 1, 2, and then the new Duels game coming out soon. So I'm going to launch into a discussion. So guys, I'm going to pose some questions and then direct them at you, so be ready for the rapid fire here. First question I have for you guys is, how robust is the talent in your locale? Is it easy or challenging to find capable Flash designers, programmers, etc.? Because you guys typically team up and get collaborators for projects and that kind of thing. So, I'm curious to find out, how difficult is it to find collaborators locally? So, Wimindra, I'll let you kick that off.
The talent is, I think, it's pretty good. It's pretty robust, but it's kind of difficult to find because the awareness of the game dev industry in Indonesia is especially is not known by public, so it's kind of hard to find the developer to do the development to like a Flash developer. It's kind of hard to find. Yeah, but the good thing is right now is coming up is very much event. Some guys from Japan also they do the event for the game dev. Is kind of good right now, but it's very bad at the past, but it's kind of improved in recent time.
Great. Rudy, how about for you? Is it easy or difficult to find collaborators for projects as far as Flash games are concerned?
Same as Vivindra say, Flash, especially game industry, is still new in Indonesia. So it's very hard to find professional talent. But today the hype for game industry in our country is very high. So a lot of newcomer, I think in the future we will find it's more easier as for finding a talent. But right now it's not too hard, but it's hard enough to find a good one.
Gotcha. Raymond.
Yeah, I think for us in Singapore it's slightly better. For my case, I work with a few schools, and I understand that a lot of the schools today are actually teaching Flash. Even the secondary school students in Singapore are picking up Flash as a ECA, something that they do outside of class, So if you want to work with beginner, it's not so hard to find. It's the problem of getting really experienced guys that know what they are doing, So even if we to work with them, it takes a bit hand holding for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Singapore as well. So with Explosive Barrel, we work with a lot of freelancers, students, and guys all around. So similar situation is that we see a lot of guys who have around basic knowledge in Flash, but if you want something deep, like have some skills database or whatever things that we need for the games, they don't normally have this skill set, so they have to learn on the job. Yeah.
Gotcha, thanks. So next question for you guys is comparing business practices between Western sites and markets versus sites and markets in Asia. Do you see any differences there in how you approach working with folks in Western markets versus folks here in the Asian markets?
I think it's pretty much same with from the business perspective, but it's maybe slightly different with from the market.
Rudy, do you have any insights on that?
From my experience doing business with Asian sites, it's pretty different with if I'm working with Western sites, because in Asian sites usually they require more work to do. It's like localization, and also they want to put their brand in the games and something like that too, that I'm not finding it in Western sites.
So Asian sites tend to be more work, essentially?
Yes, for me personally, I prefer working for Western sites. So.
Interesting.
Okay, for us, we do client work. So we work with some Asian clients and some Western clients. So actually the Western clients, they tend to place more value on flash games and games in particular. So their budgets are higher. So basically that's the difference.
I think for myself, my market is mostly in the West. I don't deal with the Eastern side so much. But when it comes to getting freelancer, then there's a bit of difference in terms of the way we work. I think for Asian freelancers, a lot of them, I'm not sure if it's the culture, but for a lot of them, it's they see us, the person hiring them, as a bit of an authority figure. They are a bit afraid to give opinions and ideas. Whereas when we are working with the Westerners, I think a lot of them see it as a collaboration. So in this sense, when I work with things that I want a lot more control, I like programming. I know exactly how I want my games to be. I will work with the Asian programmers. But in the sense when I want things like cutscene artwork and especially music, I try to work with the Westerner because I like to, let them have a bit of free play, stuff like that.
Cool. So the next question is comparing game and art styles between East versus West. How would you compare that, and what drives those differences? So if you make a game, do you change the style of the game for each market, and what are the underlying drivers of that for you?
We started using the Asian, the Japanese style because we much got influence from them when we were a child. But right now we kind of balance, depend on the games. But if we want to try to make the games for Western market, we use the style with Western style, vice versa with the Asian.
I say with Vivindra, I think it depends on the game, sir. We already make games with Asian style, with also with Western style, but as now we focus on more hardcore player where we targeting Western, so we use Western art of style for all our games right now.
You bring up a good point. So when you approach it, do you think about what market you're targeting first, and then adapt the style based on the
Yes,
market?
usually it's like that.
That makes sense.
I mean, for us, like I mentioned just now, our target audience are usually the Westerns. So in this case, me being from Singapore, I grew up playing Japanese games. So all the visuals and stuff like that, we have a big influence. But eventually, the good thing is that I'm doing a lot of pixel art, and then I got into the indie community, and then nowadays there's a lot of pixel artists that are from the West that we can start to learn, and you see that the style is actually there's a merging style, that is also quite popular among the players. So I think what we do is that we also have to try to cater to the West, but in the end, people are there's this style where people are used to. There is a merge of the both. At least that's the way I see it.
Okay, for us, we tend to go with a 2D, cartoony, and anime kind of style. So I find that actually it works well for both Asian and Western markets. So you just stick with that kind of style for all our games.
Well, for the next question, I'm going to start with Luther and work back this way down the table. What are the sources of inspiration for your games? So where do you draw your inspiration from?
Okay, so my inspirations mostly like movies, cartoons, other games. So actually it's really good, so I can say, I can play games. It's market research, so I can just great. Then I also enjoy taking ideas from different teams. Like say, someone made a game from philosophy, so I find that interesting. You can make some games with a science team or medical team. That's also quite interesting.
For myself, I actually work on a lot of retro games. Most of my games are using 8-bit graphics. So the main influence are actually the games that I played in my childhood. Nintendo games, Genesis games, stuff like that. One of the things that I always like to do is to look back at the top 10 underrated games. There's a lot of mechanics that people really enjoy back in the days, but eventually for one reason or another we drop out. So a big part of my research is to see what are the kind of things that we can actually bring back to the players. Yeah.
For me, the inspiration is come from top games in the big portal like Congregate, Mochi, Armor, and we play the game that hit the market, and we choose what make the game can be so addicting. So we mix all the ingredient and make something new from that games.
So you're drawing your inspiration from other developers and building on some of the things that they're innovating on.
Yeah, usually we working like that.
For me, inspiration can be from different form, but in our studios currently we have like a program. They have Mind Twist Days. It's like every crew can support their needs, passion to make the games. We have like a game design competition, something like that. So after a while, when we need to make a good product, we just search from the pile of the ideas from our crew.
Okay, so is it kind of like a hackathon kind of thing where you guys just sort of hack away and?
Something like that.
Oh, that's cool. All right, so next question is, if you could change one thing about the business of Flash games, what would it be?
If I could change one thing, I would like that people will stop saying that Flash is dead. So it's actually a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if people keep saying it, then there's this mindset that the Flash is dying, it's not going to be supported, then you actually be less, the demand will go down for Flash games. So similarly, I do contract work. So now more and more clients actually asking for HTML5 games because of this mindset that Flash is dead. Yeah, so Flash still alive, at least for a while.
I think for myself, I hope to see a bit of opportunity for the really good one to stand out even more. The way I see it right now is that the games are released, and then of course, like every other platform, they will stay there for a while, and then eventually people will just stop playing them. But the thing is that the Flash audience can be quite young also sometimes. So if there's a chance, I hope that there is places where we can put up games like maybe the zombie teams are just gonna place it in one section where you can, if you like zombie games, you can just go and visit, that kind of stuff, just to let the old games have a bit of second chance to come back or something like that. Yeah.
I just want to flash audience to get more mature and aware to more quality games and with in-app purchase and more aware with premium content. Then I think it's getting better now if we comparing to the few years ago. So,
It's from point of view of business it's very hard to change anything right now. But if I could change one thing, maybe what the sponsors see our value from the games. I mean, maybe like the valuation of the game itself. Sometimes I see lots of very high quality game. They tend to see less valuation than the game itself. So yeah, from if I could change one thing, it would be the valuation, how the sponsors see the game itself.
So educating the sponsors a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, so next question for you guys is, do you evaluate success in your home Asian market any differently than other markets? So do you gauge Western markets differently than your sort of local markets here in the East?
I think it's kind of same because we're targeting the global audience. So we don't target specific market, especially in flash games. That's how we evaluate success.
How about you, Rudy?
same for we targeting Western market. Actually, I'm done evaluate market in Indonesia.
For myself, right, like I target mostly the Western audience. Most of the time, I don't really have the Asian market in mind. The kind of games I do, if you try, you know, they are the teams and everything. I just focus on the Western. So, yeah, not much I can say around here.
For us, actually, unfortunately, Singapore is quite small, so it's too small of a market for us to target. So we will focus on global market. So really, there's not much difference. Yeah.
All right. Next question is, what have been your greatest successes, and give me your biggest misstep or failure to this point. Luther, we'll start with you on that side.
Okay, so just one of our greatest successes, I guess, is our IP of the Straight Samurai. So we're actually building upon it. So actually we've got lots of play. So we actually from one we have like a few million. Then from two you add on to the number of the fans it continues to grow. So we are trying to monetize on that. Okay. So actually we made the game like 4 years ago, but we're still getting monthly payouts from Mochi. So that's great. Then okay. So what was our biggest mistake was actually because Straight Samurai was actually designed for touch screen. But we did not port it to mobiles fast enough. So when we eventually ported it to mobile, it was already too late. So that was one thing one big mistake that we made. Yeah.
I think one of our biggest success was actually the Bikejacker, the zombie shooter that we made, published under Muchi. That game got us quite a bit of exposure, sites like Kotaku, all that, they gave us feature for that. Destructor, they talk about the game. So that was actually a very good opportunity for us. I mean, we did cash in on the game a bit, but I don't think, but on the other hand, there was a big mistake on it, is that I think the plan for it wasn't far enough. We didn't have a better plan, what's after the flash version of it. We could have ported or done more things with it, but we didn't have it for the initial phase. So eventually when we tried to do it, there was a lot of problems. This were just not catering to the idea in the first place. If we could have done it, we probably could have, have a slightly better life today.
I think our greatest success is regarding IP is Epic War, but personally, the most success I think is the ability we can build a strong fan base from that game. While at the same time, I think there is a big mistake from that because a few years ago we didn't focus on manage our fan base. So we just neglect that fan base and just focus on making games. Also, we didn't monetize our fan base enough. So I think that's our focus on this year: manage fan base and monetize them.
For me, still the biggest title that success is Keep Colossus, but we try to innovate with the controls and the new things, and we polish the game is very very deep. But the also the new thing can be also a bad thing, and innovation didn't also have a great impact on the like the casual player or something like a classic player. They tend to demand the usual control. Like we use the mouse to navigate the ship, and they still want use the WASD to control the ship, and mouse to shoot aim the gun, something like that. So our biggest mistake is didn't get the option to have the old control. Yeah.
Players don't like change, is what you're saying. Yeah. Luther and Raymond, you guys mentioned seemed like you didn't have the planning in place to port to mobile devices. Is that sort of a summary of what you were saying in terms of your biggest misstep was not planning for the port of your game or for a secondary platform for your games in the beginning, and then having to sort of figure that out later, or being too late on that?
Yeah, that's right. It took too long to make the move. Yeah.
And so nowadays, is that part of your planning process when you go to plan your next project? Are you planning for multiple platforms for your game?
Yeah, that's right. So now we're actually planning for cross-platform right at the start. So we are planning to so when we develop a game, we plan to release it on iOS, Android, Flash at the same time and do it cross-platform play.
Yeah, pretty much the same for us. Didn't plan it ahead, so it wasn't done in a way that we can easily port it. So hopefully we can do that for future games, cross-platform and stuff like that.
Sort of building off that, another question for you guys is, how do you view cross-platform and sort of Flash's role in that? How do you view your Flash game and how that sort of applies to your cross-platform planning process? I wonder, I'll start with you.
Right now when we planning the games is maybe same with the Raymond. We try to make this mindset is to do all the platform in mind. So from the start, so we try to emulate something like the performance also, and what the games look like at the device, and also with the Flash. So we try to elaborate all of that right from the beginning. So we didn't have the same mistake from the guy to do the multi-platform games.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the question is, when you're planning your project, how do you feel Flash? What's Flash's role in your cross-platform plans? If you do go cross-platform, I'm not sure if Epic War is that strictly Flash, or do you have other platforms that you're planning to take Epic War to?
I think when we want to go cross-platform, we must think carefully because sometimes Flash game doesn't fit into mobile market. So we must choose. I think we should, if we want to go in cross-platform, we should targeting mobile first. What might work in mobile, and after that we can make it something like that.
Interesting. Raymond, how about you? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm not a tech guy myself. I don't do the programming. So, for my case, I will probably have to ask my friends over here that I met today. But in terms of the gameplay wise, I think I have to agree with what we mentioned just now. You know, the gameplay for Flash games doesn't necessarily suit. So, but what we did for one of our game, Toby Hook Shot Escape, is that you know, we actually released a Flash version, which is much simpler than the later version that we released for the iOS. Although it's not a direct port, but we actually use that version as a way to gather feedback for the game sort of prototype. You know, I think in that case, it helps the gameplay to improve a lot. When we released the eventual version, it was much more polished because the Flash audience are actually very verbal with their ideas, and with the ideas and feedback, it's like a giant play testing session for us. So that one helped a lot in the port.
Okay, technical wise, okay, I really love it that Flash you can actually port to iOS and Android directly without changing so much code. Okay, so when it first came out, it was actually quite slow. Okay, but now with the release of Air 3.0 and up, actually now it's pretty viable. So the speed is there, the stability is there, doesn't crash so much. So that's really good. Then also there's this thing called Air native extensions that I'm really quite excited about. So what you can do is with that you can have microtransactions, your in-app payments, your integration with Game Center. So now that's available with Flash. So that's why we are actually still using Flash to do games and to directly port to mobile.
Great. So next question for you guys is, you know, the past few years, the Flash industry has changed quite a bit. You know, what would you say is the single biggest opportunity today for Flash game developers? And, you know, in contrast, what's the single biggest challenge out there? Wimindra, we'll start with you.
Okay. I think right now mobile is the new gold rush for the indie game developer. But like let's say the Flash is kind of good for porting to all the platform right now. Using the newest Air, it's kind of easy to make the games. So Flash game is very easy and fast to develop. So I think there's a very good opportunity in there.
Rudy?
Today, Flash game industry has no boundaries because today player is eager more to spend their money to in-app purchase, and I see a lot of Flash MMO social come to congregate and Facebook, and also the biggest challenge, I think the competition is far more hard now because the quality is not different not different with the mobile quality, I think. So while the value of the price is far more less than the mobile market.
So you're saying the quality of Flash games has come a long way and it's a lot better now?
Yes, yeah. I don't talk about our opportunity to easy port to iOS and Android, but in Flash market, in Flash platform, it's getting better. But for now, it's more challenging, I think, to compete with other big guy.
Raymond?
For me, the way I see it is that actually there's a lot of games that actually made it in places like iOS and stuff, mobile market. They actually started off with the Flash games. So I think the way I think if we were to think about it, I think games like Cannibal, I think there was a ice skiing game. Quite a few of them actually released the Flash version slightly earlier before the mobile version. That one can be used to do a very good advertising for your games if you were to put them elsewhere. So especially the fact that Flash is something that you can play on your PC I think it's a good way for people to try out the games before they buy them. Especially when you're in the office, not your boss is not looking at you. You want to have a bit of preview of what to buy. That can be a good way to sell your product.
So as I mentioned just now, the greatest thing that happened Flash is that you can port it to mobile. Okay, but the biggest challenge right now is actually that the Swift file is actually it's an open platform, so it's very easy to decompile. People can just take your art. Yeah, so that's one thing that we are facing right now. That people they take our SWF, decompile, take our art, and they just make their own games with it.
So that's a really good segue to our next question, which is piracy. It's an issue in any industry involving distributed media, and so curious as to how piracy has impacted your game's IP, if at all, and what do you guys do to combat that? Luther, I'll start with you.
So as I mentioned, that we try to bring Straw Hat Samurai to mobile. So when we were doing that, we went to look at App Store. So there were actually more than 2 or 3 games that released Straw Hat Samurai, but it's not done by us. But the art looks exactly like our Flash game. That's not done by us. Then also we had to go and tell the App Store to take it down, that kind of thing. So that it affects our IP as well, because they are bringing our things, our IP to the App Store, but we don't get the revenue. Yeah. Then another thing is piracy. Now they have this thing called hacked versions. They have these websites with hacked Flash games. So you play it there, you have unlimited lives. So that is it affects our game design. So, yeah. But a lot of the players, they like to go there because they don't want to die so much.
For myself, the Flash version aside, I released a few other games, one on Steam and the other one on iTunes, both of which I got a pirated version on the website, like within 6 hours. Yeah. But for myself, I don't really take any prevention against piracy these days, because I just don't see how I can beat them in any way. So I think there's a lot of talk about how to make use of piracy to your own advantage. So I haven't thought of anything yet, but I'm hoping to go towards that direction. You might as well make use of it and take it as a free marketing tool. As for the hack version mentioned just now, I think if we were to see it on a slightly optimistic way, it's the fans having some fun with your file. So I wasn't so affected by that, except when things like the leaderboard got hacked, and then people like to cheat their way to get high score. I think that affects the players, because in that case they the people that try really hard to get a high score, they actually came to me with very angry letters, stuff like that. That's not so nice.
One more thing about the hack version is that because how Flash games we make money is through selling licenses. So sometimes we do side locks. So we have these people, they will actually hack the game, take out the side lock, and they put it on the other pages. So that affects our revenue as well. Yeah, what we try to do is we try to encrypt the game, but still, if the guy is persistent enough, he can just break it.
Yeah, I think we cannot prevent piracy in Flash game, but we can reduce. Piracy in Flash game, there is 3 sides. First one is player, just like Luther say, if someone use cheat engine and just play with the game to get unlimited mana, unlimited life, just like in our recent MMO Epic War Saga, a lot of hacker, they just hack and use there is an item powerful which costs around 200 and 300. They just hack and buy the 6 of it. But I don't think we can prevent it, because Flash security cannot handle it. And the second is come from other developer. Because Flash is easy to decompile and steal the code, so it's easier to steal the code and reskin the game and upload it to other portal. But I think player will aware for if example there is a developer clone Epic War, steal Epic War and reskin it into maybe team world team. But I think flash player audience will aware and just say, oh, it's an Epic War rip-off, Epic War cloning, and start Reddit 0, and the game will get nothing in distribution. So yeah, that's not a big impact for our IP. And the last came from publisher. Some Chinese portal usually they stole our games and block outgoing link. You know, in Flash, usually our sponsor require sponsor branding to clickable to their website, play more games, put it a lot in our games, so that Chinese portal usually block that thing, so it can cut also can cut our advertising revenue. So and the sponsor don't get a visitor back to their website.
Yeah, I think from the developer point of view is doesn't really matter the piracy, because we need get the games as viral as can be. But like Rudy said, maybe the downside is they block your advertising, the link from other sites, so we can get any revenue from the advertising. But the problem is from the sponsor side, because if like most of Chinese sites, they block outgoing link to the developer, the sponsor site. That's will cut the revenue. And if the game is stay in the portal, is not problem. But if the games goes viral, then a lot of small site picking up the pirated version, it's get problem. So maybe you should try get as viral as fast as you can, right from the beginning, the distribution of the game, before the pirated goes viral and replacing your original games.
As you guys touched on it, there's you mentioned seems like three fronts that you battle piracy on. There's piracy, players are hacking in and changing their scores and hacking in and taking items they haven't paid for. There are sites that are blocking links and blocking your advertisements and affecting your revenue that way. And there are also other developers who are essentially hacking your game and stealing and reskinning it. Which of those, so as a follow-up question, which of those types of piracy is most sort of prevalent for you guys? What do you see the most, and what do you find yourselves sort of battling the most?
I think from the flash version is, I think it's not really a problem. But if from mobiles, I think it's like jailbreaking games, and the game is distributed for free.
For me, the most is when the other developer steal our code and reskin it. And it happened once in our game called Bug War. Someone stole and the stage design is same, and they just changed the theme and put it in iOS market. But lucky I can contact Apple to remove the game, but it takes around 1 or 2 weeks.
I think for my case, because I haven't got anything like this yet, but I would imagine things like reskinning your games and stuff like that. Not just hurt the revenue, but if you are working on things like IP, you're like, for my case, I've been working on the Toby Adventure IP. So if you were to reskin my game, it not just only hurt revenue for that specific games, it's also give some people the wrong impression that this is the quality for your games, which might not be true.
For mine is people stealing the assets and also taking a game and replacing your logo with theirs. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question, was going to be about multiple platforms. We've already covered that. So I'm going to move on to the rise of mobile games. So how has mobile gaming and apps affected how you guys approach making Flash games or the Flash games industry in general? Luther, I'll start with you.
So how it impacts our game design is that from the start we have to start designing for mobile already because we're doing cross-platform. So we have to our buttons are bigger. You cannot use keyboard. So we have these limitations now when we're designing our Flash game because we are planning for cross-platform.
I think for my case, like I mentioned just now, I'm not a programmer, so my game is usually not very programming heavy. What we do is that we have made we do a Flash version of the games that we are gonna make, and then release it for to gather feedback. To us, in that case, it helps us strengthen the game design and polishing at the end of the day. You can go and buy my game and then try it out and then try the Flash version. I think you can see and feel how it improved. And then if you have the time, go and read some of the comments that the players leave, and you can actually see some of the feedback directly go into it. Another thing is some of the ideas given by the players. They tell you exactly what they want. So in this case, because the Flash version is a free version, when you put it on mobile, we actually charge it for $1.99. In that case, we are actually building a lot more content into the new version. So these ideas and even comments given by the players in the Flash version was actually very, very important for us. Yeah.
I think the rise of mobile game has a big impact for Flash game industry because it's easier to port it now from Flash to Android and iOS. But I think Flash game developer needs put more effort to it because mobile market isn't like Flash game industry. Because in Flash, we just can focus on making a good game and it will take virally so easy if the game is good. But at mobile, there is also marketing, pre-release, something like that. And I think the Flash game developer doesn't work. I think they don't usually work like that. So they have to work more professionally and give more effort to their game.
Yeah, like I said before, is mobile is not like now the new goal for us in the development also. So I think many developers right now going to the mobile. They some of them is abandoned Flash, and it's a good opportunity for us that stay in Flash development. But we have to rise the qualities dramatically because other will compare with the mobile games right now. The mobile games filled with many big developer right now from big guy from the industries. Everyone is going to mobile, so they will compare also the Flash game with the mobile. So if you stay the quality like the recent year, the past 2 years, maybe they won't will play any of your game. You have to raise the bar very, very high.
Gotcha. So you guys, and I think Rudy, you mentioned the markets are different between mobile and Flash. Were you referring to distribution in general and sort of getting people, getting players playing your games, or how specifically would you characterize the differences between Flash and mobile markets?
I think the mobile user is the habit is different. Most of mobile gamers they play while they're away and while they waiting for something, and so we need to the design is also different. We need to cater the need to like a simple game or game to wait something rather than the hardcore game the Flash right now are in. and so we need to give specifically design for each game. It's designed for the mobile and flash.
So talking about business or design? The
Yeah,
difference?
yeah, you'd mentioned there's a difference between flash games market and then mobile market. Just wondering if you had any other thoughts on what those differences were
Yeah,
specifically.
From our experience, the flash, yeah, just like I thought before, if the game was good enough, it's easier to leverage the distribution. There is a lot of channel, Newground, Congregate, a lot of seed sites, and also we can use Mochi as distribution. While in the mobile market, there is just like in iOS market, the how it works is different with Flash. Flash we can have many channel, but in mobile market, in iOS, we should, if not the game not feature in the feature slot, new and noteworthy, we should put more press release and advertising budget to push the game to the chart, and it put more hard for us as an indie developer to survive in mobile market, I think, but it's not impossible.
Gotcha. That's interesting. Raymond, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think for flash games and and compared to mobile games, the way we make money is actually slightly different. After all, one is going by sales. For the mobile, you are going by sales, or you make freemium games and then you sell in-game purchase. In comparison, the flash version, although you also have in-game purchase, but a big part of the sales is actually coming from sponsorship and also your ad revenue. So actually, that's a two very different direction for us as developers when we work. How do we make a game that is that the player want to buy, and the other one is to make a game that the player would be interested to click on the logos. How are we going to attract them to play our other games, stuff like that. So slightly different direction to begin with.
Flash games are more viral. It's easier to get seen. Basically that's it. For apps, even if you do a free game, free to play, you still need to be in the top like 25 to get the amount of views, plays that you can get from a flash game itself. Yeah, but generally people, I think they tend to spend more on in-app purchases rather than the virtual items in flash games. So there's that difference there. Yeah.
Great. So the next question for you guys is, most of you have made games, have been really successful in Western markets. Do you think the time is approaching where you'll be able to be just as successful in Asian markets as you have been in Western markets? Do you feel like things are changing locally here? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so in fact, we're actually doing a social version, social game of based on Straw Hat Samurai IP, which is multiplayer. So we're actually pushing to regions like China and Japan that we are trying to do that. So as you all know, China is really hard to go in. Okay, first, you need a Chinese partner to work with you. Second, there's localization, which is not only language, but there's also, you must be cultural, your culture must fit them. So we have a samurai game, but sometimes the Chinese, they don't like Japanese, so I have to make it into like a kung fu kind of look. Then next, there's censorship. Okay, so how do you bring a game about slicing people into a country where they censor World of Warcraft because they're skeletons? So that's some of the blockers that I was pitching to this company. They say, okay, look, you can slice off his head. And they was like, oh, then they're shaking their heads. So there's some of these things that we need to rectify.
I think for us, most of our games are actually targeted towards the West. The Asia side, I didn't look into it that much because the culture difference is really very big. The spending habit. The Westerners are more willing to pay. Their 99 cents for them is impulse buy. For the Asian, it's like it's 99 cents maybe. I will just wait for it to go free. Stuff like that. But on the other hand, if they were to buy in-app purchase, to them it's a bit of, I'm already playing this game. This is something that I want to buy from it. Something that I need. But on the other hand, to the Westerners, they will think, a lot of them will feel that, in-app purchase, this is the developers trying to rip us off, stuff like that. So it's a really different thing. So for me right now, we are focusing on the Western side. So we are not venturing into the Asian side anytime soon.
Yeah, just same with Raymond. I think we just focus on Western market because for us to came to Eastern market, it means we need to research more because the gaming culture is different, and also it should takes more requirement to do the localization and something like that.
Yeah, agree with most of the panel. It's very hard to do a target specific region, like especially Chinese, Japan, and we have to have a more effort to localize the game. That's why we only target global. We didn't want to target a specific market. So maybe we will still stay that same in couple of years from now.
Sure. Cool. Next question is, when it comes to monetization of Flash games, how do you decide which avenue to pursue? Do you typically utilize multiple methods of monetization or just one? And if it's multiple, which ones do you guys go for?
We still using the traditional way, the sponsorship, and also we add some like an in-app purchase, and also port it to our game to mobile, and maybe for the next thing we will do is like making social or MMO for Flash games.
Yeah, in the past we usually, same as Vivindra, we only do sponsorship, licensing, also advertising as our source of income. But today we focus in more community based. So this year we focus on Flash MMO because Flash player is more eager to spend their money to in-app purchase. And I think the way of monetization at Flash game is more different now. We should get more can find more ways to monetize than just sponsorship because the value of sponsorship is very, very low right now.
For myself, the enjoyment of making a game is very important. So most of the time, I just go for the sponsorship. I try to make the game as good as I want, as good as I enjoy making. So the sponsorship is the main part of the revenue for me. And then I believe that once the game is good, the ads will add up. As for in-app purchase, my experience on Flash hasn't been fantastic. I only tried it once, so that one hasn't really worked out. But then again, I didn't work my game around it, so I think it's not exactly fair for me to gauge right now.
So, okay, ads give us pocket change, but it keeps coming. So it's a gift that keeps coming. Then a lot of revenue is from sponsorships, okay, but we believe that the way to go now is actually the virtual goods and microtransaction. So that's where we're headed now.
Great. And for our final question, so we're about on time here, is do you feel that game developers in Asia have any significant advantage compared to other folks located in other parts of the world? And going one step further, do you think it's easier to make a career out of game development in certain locations within Asia versus other locations? Fairly broad question, but just curious what you guys think.
Okay, so I'll take this opportunity to pimp Singapore. So Singapore is actually a really good place to do games. Okay, we have this government that they're actively promoting games. So they're giving us like tax incentives funding. So they even have this thing where if you use cloud, they give you a tax incentive. So yeah, yes, in Singapore, there's one advantage that we have is that we have the government actively supporting the gaming development scene.
I'm also from Singapore, so basically that sums up most of it. But in terms of working in Asia, I think also there can be slight problems also because I think Asia, after all, in terms of the gaming industry, we are still rather young. Of course, there's Japan and Korea, but it's hard to just communicate with them in the first place. But in terms of getting people to work with, especially game designers, experienced game designer, it's really hard to find people to work together. People that are already in the industry for a few years and know their stuff. Then also, if you manage to find somebody like that, chances are he's getting a pretty high pay, so he probably wouldn't want to work with me. Yeah.
I think in Indonesia, the advantage is only for the salary is a bit low, but in return, we cannot get the talent, good talent, and experienced talent in game industry.
Yeah, what we'll say is pretty basic. Same with Rudy. Is because the living cost in Indonesia is very low. It's quite low compared to most Western. But so we can find the talent, the good talent is more cheaper than the other country. So that's the advantage for us.
Great. So, thanks, guys. I really want to thank you for participating in the panel. It was fantastic. I think I definitely enjoyed your insights. I hope everybody else did too. So, thank you, guys.